The subject of UFOs and ETs is very complicated, complex, and highly intricate. But I've been investigating ETs and UFOs for over 25 years. I've found out that they are very positive people. There's nothing to be feared. In 25 years, I've not found a single negative experience. I do recommend anybody wanting to know more information about this to read The Custodian, because that tells the story of how we were created by ETs at the beginning of the world and where we came from, our physical bodies and how they were designed. So they have been watching us and taking care of us since the beginning of our creation. That's why many times they're called the Watchers, because they've been watching over our world and over us for such a long, long time. And they're very interested in what we do, just like you are with your own children. In one of my books, why do they always say we're here to take over the world? It's ours, it always has been. And they said we can't do anything as bad to you as you do to yourself. All they're doing is watching and shaking their heads, figure out what are we going to do next. Because when they created man, they said, let's give this beautiful planet a creature with intelligence and free will and see what he does with it. They're sitting there shaking their heads because they don't like what we have done with it. But we have free will. We have a free will to make mistakes and do things we shouldn't do as we do in our own lives. That's because this is the only planet in the universe that has been created with free will. Another one of the directives that they gave, what is called the Prime Directive when they created Earth, was the Star Trek Directive. Star Trek was not fiction. The Star Trek Directive of non-interference. Once you have created a civilization and it begins to develop, you cannot interfere with the development of that civilization. So they're bound by two laws. We must respect our free will, and also they cannot interfere with us. But all through the development of man, whenever the earth needed something, whenever it was developing from the primitive stages and beginning to have civilization, they would come and live among the developing species. They needed to know how to plant, when they needed to know about fire, when they needed to know about hunting. Anytime it was the next development, they had to come and live among us to teach us. Every culture in the world has the legends of the culture bringer. The culture bringer is the one who brings the knowledge, such as the Indians have their corn woman. And every culture has someone that has come and taught them how to do things. And in every one of these cultures, in all of their legends, the culture bringer always comes from the sky or from across the sea, which fits in very nicely with ETs. But they have to live among the people to teach them. And because the ETs can live as long as they want, they have conquered disease, illness, and they've also conquered death. They're supposed to live as long as they want. They stayed among these people for eons, like that long, with generations and generations and generations. So in all of these countries, in the legends, this is where the legends of the gods and the goddesses came from. These ETs that lived among the people and taught them. So they've been there from the beginning, giving us what we need at a certain time. But because the way the earth has been overpopulated now, we have so many people here now, whenever the next advancement is supposed to be given to earth, the next invention, the next idea has to be put into the atmosphere. And this way, whoever picks it up will be the one who invents it. We always hear about many people all over the world who are working on the same inventions at the same time. This is why. It's all put into the air, and then whoever gets the idea and invents it is the one who gets the credit. And many times they have given us something that we needed, and we've taken it and used it in the wrong way. It was meant for good, and we've turned it around and used it negative, most of the time turning it into a weapon or something. which they don't like. It was not what was given to us for. So I said, well, then can't you come back and tell them you're not doing it the way we told you? They said, that's interference. We give it to you one time. What you do with it is your own free will. If we come back and say you're not doing it correctly, that's interference. So we just have to let you do what you want with it because you have the gift of free will. See, the earth are changing now. We are moving into a new dimension. So the vibrations and frequencies of our own body have to change as we move into the other dimension with the earth. The earth is going into its next incarnation. It has incarnations just like we do. They just take longer to get there. It's moving into its next incarnation. And it doesn't care if the human race goes with it or not. It would just be as happy if we didn't go with it. We're like fleas on a dog. Much rather we didn't go, because look how we have damaged this beautiful planet. But if we want to go, we have to change our vibration and our frequency to match the Earth's as we go into the new frequency and into the new Earth and leave the old Earth behind. It's all explained in my book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers in the New Earth, because they had to ask for volunteers to come and help Earth because Earth is in trouble right now. And the people on Earth can't help because they're caught on the wheel of karma, repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and they're not learning anything. Many of the volunteers that have been coming since the end of World War II, they were ETs living on other planets and in other spaceships in outer space. They were doing their job. They had their own lives. They had their own civilizations. They had no desire to come to Earth and be any part of all this because Earth is a difficult planet. They definitely don't want to be here. So many of the people who are coming in now as volunteers have actually been ETs in other lives, and they've never, ever been in a human body before. They don't know this consciously, because when we come into the body from the spirit side, memory is erased with all of us. When I'm lecturing, most of the audience say, now I understand. I thought I was the only person in the world who felt like this. They've never wanted to be here. They don't like Earth. They said, why does there have to be violence? Why do you have to keep hurting people? They don't want to be here. Earth is heavy, it's dense, it's not a good place to be. They're always saying, I want to go home, I don't know where home is, I know it's just not here. What I want people to understand is, we are a soul, and the soul goes from body to body to body, learning different lessons. Takes on what I call a suit of clothes or a costume to play this part in our life right now. You have an ET body that was just a costume, a part you were playing at that time.